All right, Algebra 1, we're moving on to this great thing called factoring by grouping, and we did start this yesterday in class, so I'm hoping you could catch on quickly. Our essential question is, can you factor a polynomial by grouping terms? Now, one thing I need you to notice, and I'm going to highlight them in colors, y minus z is the same here, and notice that x minus 3 is also the same. So we are going to do steps to get this look, and once we do that, we're going to group, this is why it's called factoring by grouping, x minus 3, and we're going to combine y minus z to be one term. Now, that's kind of weird because these two become one, but don't freak out. You'll see why once we get into the real heart of this, okay? Before we get into the real heart of this, let's look at one more. Same kit and caboodle, but notice this time b minus 4 and 4 minus b have a problem. They're not the same. And notice I call my floaters 5 and positive 3b are fine. They're just outside of the parentheses, but I need to make those parentheses look exactly alike. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to change this positive, hey, I need a pen, to a negative right here. And when I pull out a -1, this is now positive b minus 4. So it matches this b minus 4. Now, I say, hey, star circle highlight this one because you're going to see this everywhere. I think every SAT and ACT that I've picked up, I've seen this. So now I'm going to group this as 5 minus 3b times b minus 4. Here's just another example of this, and then we're going to get to our 4 terms like we went over yesterday. So again, I have that weird thing where y minus 3 and 3 minus y don't match. But now you could say, hey, I know my teacher told me to take out a -1. So I'm going to take out a -1 and make that 2 a positive. And when I do that, I have y minus 3. So these now match to be y minus 3. And my floaters, we're going to write as 1, 3y plus 2. So these are already factored for you, but this is typically what you're going to see. So we're going to start here, and I would star circle highlight because this is what you're going to see. And we're going to see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. And I say it over and over and over again. Anytime we have 4 terms, what do? We're going to cut it in half. What can I take out of the first half? So the GCF of the first half is just b. And I have a minus 2 left over. What is the GCF of the second half? C. Always take this sign with it. When I take c out, I also have a minus 2. And when I combine these, we're going to have our floaters, b plus c. And we're going to combine these as 1, a minus 2. Now, let's check it just because it's always a good thing, always a good thing to check. First terms, hey, I didn't mean to have highlight on. B times A is, hey, look, AB. Outer terms, -2 and B is, look, -2B. Inner terms, C times A is AC. And my last terms, -2 and C is -2C. So my answer is right here. B plus C times A minus 2. All right, so let's write down those steps. Anytime I have 4 terms, we're going to do a couple steps. Number 1, we are going to cut in half. Number 2, take out GCF, and that's of each half. Number 3, we are going to group. So remember, the binomials will group to look like that, a binomial times a binomial. All right, let's try one or two more. All right, so here we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Anytime we have 4 terms, we're going to cut it in half. What can I take out of the first half? Good, I can take out a p squared, and I have p minus 3 left over. This sign is going to come with it. What can I take out of the second half? A 2, and I have p minus 3 left over. We're going to group these as 1 to be p minus 3, and we're going to group the floaters as 1 to be p squared plus 2. Always a good idea to check and see if anything else can factor more. In this case, it cannot, so my answer is p squared plus 2 times p minus 3. Great job.